Things had gone so far that the president of my HOA personally called the cops and ordered my cabin to be demolished. She gave me 30 minutes. Yes, just 30 minutes to destroy everything I had built with my own two hands. Every nail I hammered in, every plank I installed myself, every wall I built after cutting the wood with my own hands, every sleepless night. This cabin wasn't just a pile of wood and sweat. It was 6 months of sacrifice, blood, and relentless struggle. Now she was standing in my driveway, publicly shaming me in front of the entire neighborhood, live streaming it like a deranged queen in a reality show. Hundreds of people were watching, waiting for the moment I'd finally break, expecting me to beg for mercy in front of that ruthless HOA Karen. But what they didn't understand was what a man who has already been pushed too far is capable of. And this time, I was determined, no matter what, that I would not beg in front of this HOA tyrant. Her name was Vanessa Thornfield, and she had no idea who she was dealing with. Before I tell my story and the story of this cabin, I want you to subscribe to the channel HOA Story YT. And no matter where you're watching this video from, make sure to tell us the name of your country or city in the comments so we can know how far our voice is reaching. We're waiting for your comments, so quickly complete that step. Now let's move on to the story. My name is James. Until that moment, I was living a completely peaceful life. I had no fear of anything. There was calm all around me, a gentle breeze of peace. I was living comfortably in my home without worrying about anyone or anything. The cabin I built with my own hands wasn't just a house, it was my life. It was with me like a partner. I built it myself, and when I was working on it, I didn't care about the burning sun or the shade. Every moment I was thinking only one thing: how to complete it, how to make it better and better so that I could live here in peace. When I didn't even have money to spend on it, I skipped my own meals. I bought what the cabin needed instead, just so I could finish it as quickly as possible. But this HOA Karen had sworn to break my dreams. Every moment she was looking for a way to tear down my cabin. Finally, she gave me only 30 minutes. Either leave the cabin and walk away, or pay a fine. A fine so huge that you can't even imagine it. Yes, you really can't imagine it. The fine was 10 times more than the value of my cabin, a full $50,000. I hadn't even spent that much money building my cabin, but that's what she was demanding from me. And the reason? I had built my cabin near a small portion of the society's main gate, and that HOA Karen wanted to build her own office there so she could control everything right from the main gate. But I didn't want that, because this was my home, my life, everything I had, and I was not willing to let it be destroyed. At first, I thought it was just another power-hungry HOA president doing what HOA presidents do best, bullying people who don't fit into their perfect little picture. But the truth was far uglier than that. You see, Vanessa Thornfield wasn't after my cabin because of bylaws, safety concerns, or community aesthetics. Those were just excuses, cheap masks she wore to hide her real intention. The real reason was greed. A few weeks before everything exploded, I stumbled upon something by accident. I was reviewing county zoning maps online, just making sure my paperwork was airtight. That's when I noticed it. A planned commercial reclassification proposal for land near the society's main gate. My land. According to the documents, Fairhaven HOA had quietly submitted a request to convert that section into a community operations zone. Sounds harmless, right? But when I dug deeper, the truth came out. Vanessa Thornfield wanted to build her own HOA office complex right at the entrance, an office that would give her total control over who came in, who went out, and how the community functioned. And guess what stood directly in the way of that plan? My cabin. She didn't want to negotiate. She didn't want to buy the land fairly. She wanted me gone, fast, scared, and silent. That's when the fines started. First, it was a warning notice, then a violation, then another,
each one more aggressive than the last. I tried to handle things the civilized way. I requested meetings, I sent emails, I showed my permits, inspections, and county approvals. I even sat across from her in the HOA office one evening, calmly explaining that I was willing to discuss options as long as my rights were respected. She smiled the entire time, a cold, rehearsed smile.
"Nobody is forcing you to leave, James," she said softly, "but cooperation makes life easier." That was the moment I realized this was never about rules. It was about pressure. I tried mediation next. I contacted the county zoning board. I filed formal objections. Each time, Vanessa escalated. She started telling neighbors that my cabin was unsafe, that it lowered property values, that it was a fire hazard waiting to happen. None of it was true, but fear spreads faster than facts. Some neighbors stopped waving. Others whispered when I walked by. A few believed her completely. Still, I didn't fight back publicly. I stayed calm, because while Vanessa was busy performing, I was preparing. I documented everything. Every notice, every email, every threat disguised as concern. I requested public records. I pulled zoning applications. I found emails she never thought would be seen, discussing how to remove the cabin problem before approvals finalize. That's when it became clear. She wasn't enforcing the law, she was abusing it. And the more I refused to bend, the more desperate she became. That's why she showed up in my driveway with a countdown timer. That's why she called the sheriff. That's why she live-streamed it. She believed public humiliation would do what intimidation couldn't. What she didn't realize was this. I wasn't trying to win a shouting match. I wasn't trying to embarrass her. I was letting her expose herself. Every second of that live stream, every false claim, every illegal order, she was building my case for me. And as she stood there, confident, arrogant, convinced that power was on her side, she had no idea that the very cabin she wanted destroyed was about to become the reason her entire empire came crashing down. Because sometimes the quiet man isn't weak. He's just waiting for the truth to speak louder than intimidation. And in the next session, you'll see exactly how it did. The countdown reached its final minutes. Vanessa Thornfield stood in my driveway, phone raised, smiling for the camera like she had already won. The live stream numbers kept climbing. She wanted witnesses. She wanted a spectacle. But what she got was accountability. When the sheriff's vehicles finally arrived, they didn't come alone. Behind them rolled a county zoning inspector, then a legal officer, then a city clerk. That wasn't an accident, because 24 hours earlier, I had filed an emergency injunction backed by permits, inspections, zoning maps, and public record emails that proved abuse of authority. The sheriff stepped out first. "Ma'am," he said, turning to Vanessa, "there is no demolition order on record." Her smile froze. The zoning inspector walked past her, clipboard in hand, and addressed me directly. "Mr. James Caldwell, your cabin is fully compliant with county code. It sits on private land and falls outside HOA jurisdiction." The live stream chat exploded. Vanessa tried to interrupt, tried to talk over him, but it was too late. Then the legal officer spoke. "The HOA is hereby ordered to cease all enforcement actions against this property, effective immediately." Silence. Vanessa's hand began to shake, and then came the part she never imagined. The city clerk read aloud a notice of violation, not against me, but against the HOA. Unauthorized fines, false emergency claims, abuse of authority, improper zoning interference. Each charge hit harder than the last. The sheriff turned back to Vanessa. "Ma'am, you are trespassing. You are also interfering with a lawful residence. You need to end this live stream and step away." Her phone slowly lowered. The comments had changed. "What just happened?" She lied.
This is insane. HOA is finished. The $50,000 fine? Dismissed. Permanently. Every penalty she issued against me was voided. But it didn't stop there. Within weeks, the county launched a full audit of Fairhaven HOA. What they found was ugly. Misused funds, illegal zoning pressure, private development deals hidden behind HOA authority. Vanessa Thornfield was removed as HOA president, then fined personally, then barred from holding any HOA position in the county for 10 years. The office she planned to build at the gate? Denied. Permanently. As for my cabin, it still stands. Sunlight still hits the cedar walls in the morning. The porch still smells of pine and quiet victories. I rebuilt nothing because nothing was destroyed. I didn't win by shouting. I didn't win by begging. I won by standing still while the truth did the work. And every time the wind moves through those oak trees, I remember my mother's words. Build something they can't take from you. I did. And this time, they never will. If you enjoyed this story, we kindly ask you to subscribe to the channel. Your single subscription is more than enough to support this journey and help us bring you more real stories like this one. Thank you for being here. This story has been created solely for entertainment and educational purposes. It has no connection to real events. Any names mentioned in it are purely coincidental. We did not intentionally use these names to cause trouble or harm. So just enjoy the story and have fun.